Hi, kindergarten. Let's have some art today. We are going to add color to our figures who are walking in the rain, and we also need to add two more details. What do you think we need to add? If my person is walking in the rain, what might be under their feet? Maybe a big puddle. What might be in the sky? I think we need some rain. So I'm going to draw that first, and then I'll talk to you about how to add the color. And I'm going to try and do it so that you are looking at it the right way and not upside down. Sorry if that was confusing last week. Okay, so I'm going to bring this like this, and I've got this big bright light to help us see what's going on. So I'm going to draw the puddle first, and I'm going to draw it like an oval with some wiggles. So I'm going to think about an oval shape that goes right behind the boots, except I'm going to put some wiggles in it. So let's see how I do. Thinking about the oval that starts at this boot, goes all the way around and matches this boot, but I'm going to put some wiggly lines in there. Let's see. How's that for a puddle? And I need one line in here too. And then if I'm walking in that puddle, maybe there's some splashes. So I'm going to draw some little splash marks here. Maybe I'll put two splashes there. And then for my rain, I'm not going to draw raindrops. I'm just going to draw short little lines in my drawing. Just like this. If you want, you can add what we would call a ground line, and that would be a line just about here that goes across your paper so that it looks like the puddle is on some earth. How are we doing there? So I've got my puddle, splashes, raindrops, and a ground line. Okay, in adding the color today, I'm going to use some markers and crayons. If you don't have markers, that's okay, you can just use crayons. But with the crayons, if you're just using crayons, you want to press hard on some parts and soft on other parts. And so where I use the markers, you would press really hard with the crayons to make dark, dark lines. Okay. I have 4 areas of my umbrella, and so I'm going to choose 4 different colors. And I'm going to do some design, and that means shapes and lines. So maybe here I'm going to put some polka dots, some circles. Can even have some going beyond the shape of my umbrella. And then maybe in this next space, I'm going to take purple, and actually I'm going to take green. Maybe I'm going to draw some stripes. These are diagonal stripes. That means they go from the top of one corner to the bottom of another. And maybe here I'm going to do some orange squares and rectangles. And you can choose whichever shapes and however you want your lines to be. But I'm going to draw them first. Maybe here I'm going to do some, I'm going to do some zigzag lines. So I'm making designs by using shapes and lines in my artwork. So with the marker, you can see that the lines are really bold and dark. And then when I color it in, I'm going to choose almost the same color crayon and fill that in softly. So that way the marker will stand out really strong. Here, let me put one more circle here. If you're just using crayon, which is totally okay, you just want these designs to be nice and dark and then the coloring in to be lighter. So I have this orange color, and I'm going to color softly over the whole thing, and you can see how the marker lines still stand out. And even though I'm moving my crayon quickly, my coloring strokes are close together, which keeps it looking nice and neat. And here's this light green that's almost the same color as my marker, but because my marker is darker, you can see the difference. Okay. Here's a reddish color for this shape here. And again, I can just go softly, keeping my crayon marks close together. And if you want all of your rainbow, or all of your umbrella rather, to just be the same, you could pick one kind of line to do the whole thing. Or it could be all different ones. So I've got one more shape here to color in, one more space. If you noticed, I started a little bit dark, and I thought, oh, that might be too dark. So I just don't press so hard with the rest of my coloring. Crayons are really great art materials because you can change how the artwork looks just by how hard you press with your crayon. That's not the same with all art materials, but with crayon and colored pencil, your artwork looks different depending on how hard you will press it. Okay, I'm gonna pick one of these patterns for my boots so that my boots match. I'm going to go with the green, and I'm going to put green diagonal stripes. So my boots match my umbrella. And then I'm going to pick a different pattern for my raincoat. I think I'm going to do the orange squares and rectangles. Even on the arm. Now I'm not going to color in the hand because that's not part of the fabric. Maybe I'll just color these little guys in all the way. So I'll need a different crayon for my hand. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to my crayon and softly color in the boots so that we still see the marker lines. And then I'll do the same thing with my jacket. I'm gonna skip a little bit of this to just finish the instructions. Here's a color for my hand and my legs. So I'm gonna color those in so neatly. All right, let's talk about the water a little bit. I do want to color in my splash, my puddle and my splashes, but I'm not going to color in the whole sky. Instead, I'll just add a few more crayon marks to add more rain to it. And when I'm all done, you'll see a photo. You'll have to click into it of my finished work. So I'm going to color the puddle and my splashes. And then pretend I finished coloring that in. For my raindrops, I'm just going to add some more rain with my blue instead of coloring that whole thing in. If you did your drawing in pencil, you could take a black crayon and trace over the lines before you start to add color so it's nice and bright. Okay, I am going to turn off this light. There we go. This is my drawing. It's almost finished. I have shapes and lines that make designs on my umbrella, on my raincoat, on my boots. I have lots of rain and a big puddle at the bottom. I can't wait to see your beautiful artwork.